What's up, guys? So today's one of those days where I just break down one complete game. I think I have a really good one for you today. It's quite enjoyable. You guys haven't missed much. I just cut out the beginning where everybody posted up, killed a couple of guys, moved into the middle, and now we're into their spawn. And the game just kind of progresses from there, so I'm going to be sharing some of this with you and just kind of talking over some of the key points that I found interesting. Let's kick it off by dropping our North Star, which is probably the best level for it right here on Homestead. And I'm really close to dying, but luckily I managed to get my grapple out. I was supposed to have it earlier. It was a little bit too tight of a turn for a bunny hop, so... the streak almost never happened, but lucky for me, I was able to recover. And it's always those little small moments in Titanfall. Like, check this one out. Okay, he's not there. That guy can wait till later. This guy's gonna make a pretty sweet getaway, or at least a getaway attempt, which I think is the only thing you should be focused on at this point. I like what this guy's doing behind me with all the chip damage, but I think he could have done this and stayed alive a little bit longer if he just tried to create some space between us. And sometimes you're just not going to be able to create space naturally. Like if you're just on flat ground, like you don't challenge me on the flat ground. You need to get into the buildings, you need to get into the tower, one or the other. You need to do something to block the space between us. Even if it's something like running around that pillar. Like I've had great fights around pillars because you can run around them to get covered from the Titans and then you just pop out really quick. But one misstep and you're just dead. And I have a couple of examples in the next video. You guys are going to enjoy it. It's going to be a lot of one-on-one fights, and I think some of those are the best fights in this game. Obviously, it's going to be spiced in with a little bit of randomness. I couldn't believe this worked, though. Check this out. I thought I baited him in perfectly, but that Ronin, you never want to be that close. Doesn't matter if it's an auto Titan or not. All Titans are lethal. Take them serious. But if there's a lot on the field, you can take some comfort in knowing that there's a lot of targets for you to shoot to build up your own meter. The laser is probably the most reliable, especially on a level like this. I can see this guy getting into the animation looking to get out of his Titan, so I'm like, alright, let's go ahead and do this. And just like that, it's over. You went all in and you lost. You lost your life, you lost your Titan, but I respect your choices. Because if he was actually the better pilot at that point, if he would have came in hotter, or, you know, came in with his ability, whatever he needed to do it a little bit better, obviously. That would have been a really good play because that's something I'm hesitant to do. I'm like, oh, I hate getting out of my Titan to chase one guy because I'm like, if I don't get the kill right away, I end up missing on a lot of my Titan, possible damage to my Titan, you know? So it's that win-lose. It's funny, you can start parking your Titan as soon as you start the disembark animation. So you can do it all at once while it's still in the black screen, and then you don't have to worry about him running out of position. So that's the one good thing about that is that feature actually works really well. I really enjoy this Titan, and it's a lot easier than Krabering. I can't Kraber to save my life, so this is a nice alternative to kind of scratch that sniping itch.
What a sharpshooter. I don't think that team knows who they're messing with. That pilot stepped into the wrong ring.
He just kind of stopped all of a sudden. He put the brakes on. Zigzagging around. Like, there's a lot of ways to change your movement in this game, whether it be either by doing your own mobility or using your ability, like even hover, right? That also changes your momentum, so there's a lot of ways to throw people off. This is one of the levels where I'll usually use a laser. I find that long-range weapon, it's just the only long-range reliable weapon. Like Archer rockets, I'm going to be showing you guys in the next video, the Pilot's Handbook Part 2. It's going to be all about Titans, and I throw in a whole thing about dodging these rockets, because once you see how you can dodge most anti-Titan attacks, it just adds so much longevity to your Titan. And the biggest problem for me is that you're going to see this at the end once I start kind of like getting antsy and just being like, oh, I just want to kind of get this game going, like I didn't want to hold back. I end up getting my Titan out of position just so I can continue to engage, but the real word I'm looking for is just continue to play the game. I don't want to just hang out in the back of the map and snipe. Like, I still want to have fun, so that's where I'm always conflicted. But, you know, that's how you end up with more entertainment. At least I'm hoping you guys are entertained by it. So take, like, the ridiculous moments for what they are, which are just, you know, ridiculous moments, and then take the consistent moments, which is probably what you want, good consistency in how you're going to do your counters. Right now, I could have crouched and just shot a cluster bomb behind me to kill him, but I wanted to get him with the core, and it ended up getting him with the core. So great, hurrah, everything works out for me, but there's a lot easier ways to do it. Funny thing about this game, this is actually the same day I got my new elite. I went back up to 4, so we're going to be having some fun with the grapple because the speed really helps when I'm trying to do tricks with it. So expect a few more grapple shenanigans out of me in the next little bit. Oh my god, talking 1v1 Titan fights is going to be a lot of fun though, guys. There's a lot of fun to be had with Titans, and you know what? I don't enjoy the Titans as much without the pilots to go with it. So I'm still not a fan of like LTS and, no, I guess it would just be LTS. Like I'm just not a fan of complete robots. I like mixing it up. And I actually want to see the viability of trying to hold back with your Titan for a bit and going out with an Archer rocket or more than likely a Thunderbolt, doing a few shots of damage and then grabbing your Titan. Like to me, it seems like it would be worth it. Is it not free hits? Unless of course you get flanked, so I guess you'd have to coordinate with that with your team. Who knows, you know. Do it however way you think makes sense to you. That was a nice trip from the ship. So remember, every time you touch a ship with a grapple, it counts as one complete charge. That is the same thing as grappling a pilot. So just be aware of that, because that's how I find myself being depleted of grappling hook. I miss this guy behind me. But that's kickoff is really what you should take away from this part. That is a sweet timing. It feels great. It's so maneuverable, like you can just feel yourself going the way you want it to. And when I came back out, I'm like, why did I even bother? Meh. We could probably get back there pretty quick. I wonder if this is the same guy. I'm not sure, but I want my revenge. And it's funny because we're practically in the exact same situation. My aim is pretty inconsistent right now. I'm still trying to adjust to the new sensitivity. I don't think much it takes because they take a while to activate, but for some reason every so often they blow up like instantly. I don't know if you're catching it at the tail end or it's a little bit of lag, but every so often I find that they do that.
Titan ready. Call it any time, pilot. Stand by for Titanfall.
So it's about this time in the game where I start getting pretty antsy. At this point, I kind of forget about positioning. If I look at the score and we're not doing too bad, then I'll just be a little bit more aggressive. And, you know, there's really not much reason to not just be in the fight for the sake of being in the fight. I'm actually trying to get some nice kills. It's hard to aim sometimes when that sun gets in your eyes. There's also Titans off to my left. I'm taking damage, but, you know, at this point, I don't think it's too big of a deal. He's grappled on, and then he kind of lost it. He may have not turned fast enough with it, because he should have had enough. If he came in with a full charge, he could hang on a lot longer than that. And even the Reapers, though, they really take a toll on these light Titans when you're not activating your block or staying out of their reach like a North Star. Whatever you have to do. A North Star will two-shot these things, so Reapers aren't that big a deal, but every so often they drop right beside you or you stumble into their paths and they're unloading as a team. And they'll just wreck like half your Titan's health or more, man. Like they're pretty lethal against the light armor. It's even not a good idea to really be taking that damage regardless of your Titan. So you have to play to its strengths, like Scorch will melt them with their shield. I have this clip, I'm like, the last 150 points, I literally just killed Reapers. And the game was over before you know it, and I end up beating the guy who was in first place by 1 point. It's actually pretty funny. I'm like, no way. I'm like, this worked out. The whole last minute, that's it. So really in the end, it's like the last 150 points is it Reaper time, because if you just want to win the game, they were spawning so close to each other on... They do it on most maps, and it even shows you where they spawn, so you can continuously just keep moving from drop zone to drop zone. It kind of turns into bounty hunt, actually, at the end of the game. You're practically just looking for AI if you want to be as efficient as possible. And then just killing any pilots that happen to stumble into your spawn. Well, I guess it's their spawn since you're killing their Reapers. Yay, Titanfall. And then you just get the final points of the game and it's over. I don't know if that's weird to me. Like, I don't like doing it. Like, there's actually a lot of games where I'm like, I won't kill too much AI because I want the game to go on longer. I don't know. It's kind of weird. The AI game is a game of its own. I don't know. What do you guys think? it's part of the attrition mode, right? Taking out AI. That's kind of what makes it. It's the pilots, Titans, and then you have this third wheel of minions. That's what some people feel about it. I personally like the balance, but I'd like to see it be a little bit different from match to match, because I think because of how predictable it is that some people could start exploiting it. Or see, is it exploitation though if it's part of the game mode? I don't think so. Okay, so I'm using the wrong word then. It's not exploiting it. But it is kind of exploiting it. This was my same view on the support unit in Battlefield. You get all these points just for dropping ammo, even if you're just doing it mindlessly, like in a ridiculous corridor where everybody is for whatever reason, you know? I don't know, it just seems a little bit silly to me. But that pretty much brings us to the end of this video. Let's finish this Titan off. We're gonna kill the pilot, and we're gonna call it a day. If you enjoyed it, remember to rate the video. It really helps me out. Leave a comment, let me know what you guys thought, and maybe tell me a little bit more about what you guys want to see. But thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.